Hello everyone who is here live or is watching in the future. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to learn about a new faculty-led study abroad program that is going to be offered in winter 2026 with travel in the summer to Rwanda. Um, Professor Abubakar could not join us today. He's currently at a conference. But if you have questions that you want to ask him, his email is on the screen. Today, you're going to be with me, Kristen. I work in the Center for Global Engagement, and Professor Vannier, um, who is going to be leading this trip with Professor Abubakar. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about the course. What is the course about? We're going to talk about the travel program in terms of itinerary, where would you go, how it is integrated into the course. And then I'm going to talk about financial aid for study abroad, how do scholarships work for study abroad, and kind of go through a whole timeline of the process of, okay, when do you apply? When do you need to pay tuition? When do scholarships apply? When do we have pre-departure orientation, et cetera, et cetera. Then at the very end, we'll probably turn off the recording for Q&A, but we'll have links and QR codes for getting more information or how to get in touch with Center for Global Engagement about applying. So without further ado, I'm going to turn off my camera and let Professor Vannier take it away. I'm going to go ahead and just, go through slides. If I go too fast or you need me to switch it up, just give me the cue, okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Kristen, and welcome everyone, and welcome. Thank you for your interest in the Rwandan study abroad. There's going to be two sections to this. There's going to be the course in the winter semester, and then at the end of the course, we'll be traveling to Rwanda for 2 weeks to really study and dive into the content we learned through the course and to talk to people who were there, hear from the University of Rwanda and scholars there who study these topics and get a really, really big hands-on look. So what the course is going to be all about is contemporary genocide and mass violence. And this is something that's happened, of course, historically. We're going to study different genocides from a historical perspective. And that could be the Shiloh or the Holocaust. That could be, the killing fields of Cambodia and, different 20th century events. And then we'll study genocide from more of an intellectual and theoretical level in the course. How do we use the exact words? What exactly is a genocide? How do you define that? And how is that different from, say, mass violence? We see that issue today. Look at Israel and Gaza. Some people say it is a genocide happening in Gaza. Other people are saying it's not a genocide. It is mass violence. It's massacres. And there's still the Armenian genocide in Turkey in the earlier 20th century is still hotly contested. Was that a genocide? Was that simply mass violence? So we're going to learn, why is this? How are they politicized? How do they happen? What do they mean? And better yet, what happens afterwards? How do societies heal themselves? How do societies come to terms with what had happened? These are important questions for today as we are seeing, genocide and mass violence we can look at Gaza, we could look at Ukraine, we can look at the Sudan, certainly, and we can look at other hot spots that the United Nations and political scientists and scholars are watching that maybe are not in any type of violent situation now, but we see evidence increasing that war, sometimes civil war and ethnic war might be inevitable. That could be like South Sudan, that could be on northern Ethiopia in the Tigray nation, in the Tigray area with Eritrea. So these things are happening. And furthermore, we see a lot of evidence that with climate change, with political instability, that this may become more common as we move into the 21st century. We might see this type of upheaval. We might see more mass violence, more genocide. I hope not, but the evidence is sort of pointing towards instability around the world. So it's critically important that we understand this. And that's what we're going to tackle in the course. And as we move through the course, we'll slowly build up our knowledge through readings, through lectures, and through events of what happened in Rwanda in 1994. In 1994 is to use the correct words, it's the genocide against the Tutsi occurred, where an estimated 800,000 to 1 million people were murdered in the span of about 4 to 6 weeks. And they weren't murdered using bombs and gas chambers. They were murdered using knives, machetes, shovels, clubs, buried alive, and other things. And it was man, woman, and child. And what we'll start to learn is, okay, what happened? How did this happen? Where did this come from? How did a majority of people of the Hutu group, and we'll define these groups carefully, fell upon the minority Tutsi population in just a complete mass violence event? But then what we're going to study is, okay, how did it end? In what ways? It ended with civil war. What are the meanings for today? This genocide didn't have a clean ending, like say the Holocaust with the defeat of Germany, the Nuremberg trials. The perpetuators were put on trial and punished for their crimes. It didn't have a clean ending like this. Many of the perpetuators and organizers fled. One was caught only in 2020, or fled into Democratic Republic of Congo. And what followed was a rather large civil war between the anti-genocide forces and the genocidal forces. And that kind of came to a messy conclusion, to the point that it influences politics to this day, and we'll study that. But more importantly, today, Rwanda is considered one of the massive success stories of Africa. They call it the Singapore of Africa. It is an extremely developed country. And so what we're seeing is it healed through time and emerged as a very powerful society. And you'll see, and so once we get there, what we're going to do is travel. After we learn about all this in class, travel will be for 2 weeks, April 25th to May 10th. We will travel directly to Rwanda. We will, fly into Kigali. We will be staying at the Hilltop Hotel and Resort. Be careful on that word. Resort is doing some heavy lifting with that word. But we're staying at a hotel in downtown Kigali in the main center of the city. And we are partnering with the University of Rwanda Center for Conflict Management, the people that study the genocide and study the events and study how Rwanda healed and pulled itself together and created such a developed and put together an organized society in the events of the genocide. We'll be doing that. Couple of the places, once we're there, we will hear lectures from the university. A couple of places we'll be visiting. Obviously, will be the Kigali Genocide Memorial. That is the largest one. That is the big one. We will be visiting the Ntarama Genocide Memorial. That is a very localized site. And from visiting Rwanda myself and seeing these places, the more powerful sites, in my personal opinion, are the localized sites. Ntarama was a Catholic church where people were told to go where they will be safe, and that turned out to be a huge trick. And people barricaded themselves in the church only to be systematically butchered. And the site is still there. And you can see the skulls and bone. It is a very traumatic site. We'll be visiting that. But also, we're going to take the opportunity here and not only focus on genocide, but focus on the new Rwanda, a Rwanda that has emerged out of this genocide 30 years ago into a very geopolitically powerful society. And so we're going to be seeing sites to learn about the history of the Great Lakes of Africa region and the history of the Rwanda. Here would be the Kant History Museum. Kant was the German colonial house. Rwanda was a German colony up until World War I, then became a Belgian colony because Germany lost the war. We will be going to some of the big sites in Kigali, the Kimironko Market. That is the largest market in Rwanda. Feel free to look it up. Plenty of shopping opportunities there. And of course, part of Rwanda that draws so many tourists to this day, it has a very large tourist industry, is its national parks. And the one we will be going to is Akagera in the east. There are multiple parks. Akagera is the one, as you can see from the picture here, that is where you have, zebras, giraffes, lions. We will be going on a one-day safari, so it'll be a lot of fun. I've never been, so I'm looking forward to it myself. Whenever I'm in Kigali, I'm doing other things. I never have an opportunity to go east to Akagera. So it'll be not only about the genocide. We will be exploring Rwanda, its history, its culture, and its people. And this is a great way to sort of introduce yourself to Africa. Rwanda generally and Kigali itself is extremely safe. Very little violent crime happens in Kigali. It's a very, very safe and secure city. You will see when you get there, security is everywhere. Police are everywhere. Police cameras are everywhere. Security is top notch. Everywhere we stay is top notch. And students should feel free, especially during the day and in the evening. You are free. You walk around Kigali, check out the city yourself. Very, very, very safe city. If you expect Africa, Rwanda to be like, some of these TV images of Africa with like jungle and huts, I mean, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It is a modern city. Surrounding it is countryside that has been cultivated by farmers for literally hundreds and hundreds of years. Beautiful, beautiful countryside with beautiful, beautiful small scale farms. Wonderful, wonderful place. So it'll be very safe, very secure. It's been called Africa for beginners. So that'll be a big part of it. And we'll do, the course and then the study abroad. We will come home, yeah, around May 10th. It takes, day and a half to get there, day and a half to come home. And it's about 6 hours ahead. Trying to think of logistical information. Everywhere has Wi-Fi. Our hotel does too. Your cell phone, if you pay for an international package, can communicate just like a regular phone. That's what I do. I can call and text and use data just like I use it in the United States of America. Very, very, very easy. So if you're considering signing up, consider two things. Number one, we'll be learning about mass violence and genocide, which is something that's happened in the past. It was very severe in Rwanda, and it's something that is happening today. And we got to get a grip on it, and we got to understand it. We got to understand how it happens and how to heal when it stops. But also think about Introduction to Africa. Never had an opportunity to go to Africa. We are the department or the program for Africana Studies. It's what we do. Think about coming to Africa, taking a look around at one of the up and coming, geopolitically powerful nations, which is Rwanda, and it's a very, very lovely country. So I think, Kristen, you have the details on how to apply and how to get going here. Oh, misconceptions.
Yeah, no, absolutely no. I have the study abroad piece now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing about Rwanda and about your experiences there. And I am very jealous of this program. I would love to go to Kigali. So I'm going to start off with just some debunking of study abroad myths. So what students often think is it's unaffordable. There's no way that you can afford to study abroad, that it's not safe, that if you study abroad, that must mean that you are an honor student or you're a student that studies foreign languages, and that's the only way that you can study abroad. That's not true. Or that studying abroad is just, there's no studying involved, there's no coursework involved, you're just going to hang out. No, not that either. There is some recreation time, absolutely, but it is a course. So first things first, it's unaffordable. Well, financial aid can be used to study abroad. You are taking a class, you're registering for a class, it's a 3-credit class, you're taking it in the winter, and then you're going to travel in April. And you can use financial aid for this. There's also scholarships available to study abroad. So if you are in good academic standing, you are meeting SAP requirements for financial aid, and you are studying abroad, the Center for Global Engagement has scholarships. You don't even have to apply. All students who apply to study abroad are automatically considered for Center for Global Engagement scholarships. In addition, if you are a Pell Grant recipient, the U.S. Department of State has study abroad scholarships called the Gilman Center for Global Engagement. We advise on the Gilman Scholarship. If you'd like to learn more, stop by our office. We have pamphlets and brochures, and we also advise students on their application. So for their essay questions, requirements, eligibility, all that jazz. And course tuition plus a program fee, basically an all-inclusive experience. So we work very hard, faculty and the Center for Global Engagement and all staff who are involved in designing these programs we're really considering how much is included in the program fee so that students are able to budget, are able to know, okay, I don't have to worry about my housing. I don't have to worry about my flight. I really just need to make sure I have a passport, pay for a visa if applicable, which in this situation it is. But it's under $100. It's not that expensive, and we help you apply for it. Don't worry. And tourist money or money for additional meals. Okay, so for Rwanda, the program fee is $3,640. Now, before you go, oh, right, that includes almost everything. That includes your international travel insurance. That includes all site visit tickets, all local transportation. If you're taking, buses and renting cars to travel to these sites, it includes breakfast every day. Okay. However, meals in Kigali are relatively inexpensive in comparison to the US. I mean, I was shocked the other day. I went to Jimmy John's and a sandwich is now $12. I remember when it was 7 or 8. So you can count on food being less expensive than the US. Okay.
If I could jump in here too.
Yeah, please.
The hotel is directly across the street from a full supermarket, like a full Western style supermarket, like Kroger, only not as big. And as you said, like if a full meal, a dinner in Kigali, a full dinner, $8-9, maybe 10 if you want to go nuts. But that's a full dinner.
And then your housing's included in your airfare, right? Now remember this, there's also tuition. There's a class, right? But again, financial aid can apply to these. It can apply to the program fee. It can apply to course tuition. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So when you are accepted to study abroad in a faculty-led program, you complete some forms with the Center for Global Engagement, and it's reporting to financial aid, hey, I'm going to study abroad. That way, when financial aid is making your estimated cost of attendance and creating your financial aid award package, they had to change the language for that recently, so I'm being very careful. Offer, there you go, offer. They're taking into consideration the program fee for studying abroad, okay? The tuition is just like your regular classes in winter, okay? And the deadlines for tuition, we're going to go into that a little bit later, but the deadlines for tuition remain the same, but deadlines for program fees are a little bit later because we know that students are still waiting for refunds and they're waiting for things to hit their student accounts. So the one good thing is that you don't have to worry about tuition and program fee being completely due on the same day. We have them staggered for a reason, okay? Scholarships can apply towards the program fee. The CGE scholarship is linked directly to your program fee. It's not linked to your tuition. It's not linked to tuition to other classes. We have a system in place where, boom, scholarship from CGE directly to your Rwanda program fee cost. If you are an honors student and you want to have the Rwanda faculty-led program count towards your off-campus experience, please contact the honors program. Studying abroad on a faculty-led program can be eligible for the off-campus experience fund. It takes some planning. It takes, some coordination. So if you're even thinking about that right now, I urge you to look into that. It's an excellent opportunity for additional funding and can help you satisfy your degree requirements in the honors program. Oh, oops, I realized that that's at the end. Well, I'll change it the next time. All right. So if you're accepted the program, we send you forms to sign. We then review those forms, making sure that everything, all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. We give financial aid the forms and report to them, this is the program fee and this is what's included in it. Then financial aid processes it, makes your estimate, and then sends you individually an email saying, okay, we saw your study abroad forms for your winter aid package. Here is your offer. Okay. And then if you have additional questions, about, okay, how much Pell do I have left? Or are these unsubsidized or private or anything like that? Go Blue Guarantee, Maize and Blue scholarships, Michigan Achievement, all that. You can speak with financial aid. They have a specialist in their office that does all things study abroad. I work very closely with her. Her name's Sarah Cyrus. She's the best. She knows the ins and outs of all this. Okay. So if you are a Go Blue Guarantee awardee or a Maize and Blue scholarship awardee, and you are eligible for that scholarship in winter 2026 towards your tuition, this can apply. Okay. It cannot apply towards your program fee, but it can apply towards your tuition. The Center for Global Engagement Scholarship applies towards your program fee. So we understand that students have these tuition scholarships, and so that we want to help offset the cost of the program fees for students to make study abroad accessible. Myth number 2, it's only for certain students. If you've never traveled internationally, you don't have a passport, come talk to Center for Global Engagement. We also have passport grants for students who are Pell Grant recipients. If you're not a Pell Grant recipient or you already have your passport, we have how-to guides in our office on how to apply for a passport. And every year in November during International Education Week, we have our passport extravaganza. So resources on how to fill out a DS form for a passport application. Where do you go to get your birth certificate? All this stuff. If you don't speak a foreign language, that's okay. And if, if you're not, Spanish, I missed that one. If you're not an anthropology major or you're not specializing in Africana studies, that's okay. That's all right. You don't have to be focused solely on Africana studies in order to participate in this program. Okay. Glorified vacation. You're earning credit towards your degree, right? There's a course that is held throughout the winter semester. And then at the end of the winter semester in April, you travel. Okay. You're going to be networking. You're going to be meeting a lot of people in Rwanda. You're going to be gaining so many new skills and cross-cultural, perspectives. And when you come back, there's ways to articulate your experience abroad in a cover letter, on your LinkedIn profile, in your resume, right? Because this is an academic program. Too risky. It's not safe. So we work with all students traveling internationally on UM-Flint programs. And there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of vetting and expertise review into these programs before we even tell you students about it. Okay. So we have risk management processes, policies. We have a registry. We have lots of procedures that myself and doctors Abubakar and Vannier have to do in preparation for this to make sure you're all safe. We also have a pre-departure orientation in person with all students studying abroad. We talk about safety abroad. We talk about international health insurance, planning, health planning, everything. Okay. And then when you're abroad, there's 24/7 support. Okay. So if you're concerned about traveling for the first time, getting on a plane for a first time, or maybe it's not the first time, it's just your first time traveling to Africa, traveling to Rwanda, traveling to a place that's very different from Western countries, a less traveled destination for study abroad. We have the support services in the Center for Global Engagement. I'm happy to speak with students on a one-on-one individually. If you have questions specific to Rwanda, if you have questions specific to Kigali and want to ask Professor Vannier or Abubakar, you're more than welcome to. I lived abroad. I lived in a country in Africa. So I'm happy to answer questions that you may have, especially if it's the first time that you've ever traveled. Do you need a passport? You'd be surprised how often I get this question. Yes, you do. Like I said, if you don't have a passport, you want to learn how to get one, we have how-to guides in the Center for Global Engagement. Local post offices that accept passport applications. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just a couple of them. There's a lot. And we have guides to show you how you find a passport application post office. And they're valid for 10 years. Okay. If you're thinking, one last note about passports, if you're thinking or even considering applying for this program in Rwanda, number one, you should, but number two, apply for a passport. Now, you don't want to wait till the last minute. You don't want to wait until you find out you're accepted to then apply for a passport. Start working on a passport application now because it can take up to 3 months. There's backlogs at times. There's a lot of mail time, USPS snail mail action going on. So it could also take you time to collect the documents you need for your passport application. So please, please, please come to us if you want to learn how to get a passport. And I would get ahead of that. So do you have to apply to the program? Yes. How do you do it? So you apply through WorldLink. WorldLink is our study abroad application portal. Okay. This is a QR code that goes to our link tree, which has links to several things. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to share my screen to show you WorldLink. Okay. But you have to apply in the portal. It's very, very easy. You just go to goabroad.umflint.edu, and then you're going to use your UMish login credentials and authenticate with Duo to get in. All right. And you complete a handful of questions, and then you're done. You're applied. Okay. You don't have to prove you have a passport. None of that. You just answer a couple questions. Who are you? What are you studying? What's your UMID? Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. So we make it really, really simple, and it's free to apply. All right. I'm going to try to be technically literate and switch this screen to a different screen to show you guys WorldLink really quick. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, share. Okay. Okay, so this is WorldLink. Ta-da! All right. Logging in is up here. You log in. Okay, you're going to see this screen. UM-Flint students do not need to create an account. You don't need to click this. You don't click this new account. Nope. You just proceed directly to UM login. That's it. UM login. And then it brings you to your UMish Shibboleth login. Okay. So that's how you go in. I'll go in one more time. You do not need to click the new user create account. You just use UM login and it automatically pipelines you in. Okay. So then once you're logged in, excuse me, sorry. So that's how you log into WorldLink. You want to find resources, programs, all that jazz. So on the home page, we have this handy dandy link to faculty-led programs. Okay. And we have all the programs listed. My mouse is delaying. Why? Okay. And apply here, apply here, apply here. When you click apply here, okay, it's going to take you to that program. Let's do. Okay. Then you can read more. You can learn about the costs. For instance, I know this is not for Rwanda. This is just for India. You can learn about housing, dates, deadlines, all that. Okay. You can learn more, but then you just click this, apply now. And it'll bring you to the login page, or it'll say you need to be logged in to do this. Okay, well, log in and use your U of M credentials to log in. Okay. So it's as easy as that to apply. You'll see on our Instagram and in flyers across campus and in our Global Wolverine newsletter, QR codes and links to WorldLink. There's posters all around campus with a QR code to WorldLink. So if you forget the URL, it's all around campus and on our Instagram. Now I'm going to go back really quick to talk about deadlines. All right. So let me go back to sharing my presentation. Okay. So you apply in WorldLink for Rwanda by November 10th. Okay. You're going to find out if you're accepted by November 17th. Okay. Then we have really quick turnaround times. So you're going to register for the class, and then you're going to meet with me to talk about what are the next steps. Okay, what forms do I have to fill out? When do I have to fill them out? What are the deadlines? And we just kind of go through really quick. All right, what are you doing from now until classes start in the winter in January? Okay. Then tuition for winter 2026 is December 15th, right? You also have a deposit, a commitment deposit to pay the same day that tuition is due. Okay. Can financial aid be used for the deposit? No. Do you get financial aid to pay for the deposit? Sometimes. What do I mean by that? You are paying $500 to show you are committed to this program and you are going. That way, booking logistics can begin. If you receive a refund in financial aid, you will get your $500 back. But we don't have your CGE scholarship or Maize and Blue or any of that applied towards your deposit. But your deposit goes towards the program fee balance. So it's just, here's $500. Boom. All right, that's going towards my program fee. All right. Then in January, financial aid disperses, right? CGE scholarships are awarded and linked directly to your program fee. If you have any remaining program fee balance, remember I said earlier the deadlines are staggered? Okay. If after you pay your deposit and tuition, after aid and scholarships are all paid out to your student account and linked up, if you have an existing program fee balance, it's due on the 15th. A lot of times students don't have a program fee balance. Just depends on how much aid they receive. Sometimes it's a couple $100s. It all depends on the individual student's financial aid package, award, offer, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So you're applying in November. You're finding out in November if you're accepted. Then in December, you're registering, you're paying tuition, all that jazz. Then classes start in January and you have your remaining program fee balance due in the middle of January. And then you're taking the class, you're contacting CGE if you need one-on-one advising about, identities abroad, or you need to pick up some passport guides or travel health planning if you have a chronic medical condition and you're wondering how would I continue my treatment while I'm abroad, right? You can come to the CGE. That's what we're here for. So between January and April, that's what you're working on with me. And you're also going to get emails from me about, reminding you about pre-departure orientation and reminding you that you have to come to pre-departure orientation. You have to come to pre-departure orientation. It's in April. We're going to announce the date as soon as we can. We're still finding out what's compatible with everyone because we have all faculty-led programs meeting in one big pre-departure orientation. Okay, so know that if you're applying to a study abroad program, all students who study abroad, whether it's a faculty-led program or a non-faculty-led program, there's a mandatory requirement through U of M to attend a pre-departure orientation with the CGE. Okay. Then, tentatively, April 28th, you are on a plane to Rwanda as a cohort, as a group. You're not flying alone. You're not getting on a separate flight. No. Everyone's going to meet at Detroit Metro Airport in Romulus, get on the plane together, and off you guys go. Okay? And same thing coming back. It's not, okay, off you go, bye. No, you guys are all on the same flight. All right? So you're going through customs together. You're going through TSA here together. You're checking your bags together, all that jazz. All right? So please don't feel that you're just showing up on your own and you have to navigate it. No. Not all right. So that wraps up my portion. Again, between now, before you apply, after you find out you're accepted, if you have questions about identities abroad, safety abroad, health abroad, let me know. My email's on the screen. I'm on campus Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. If you want to sign up for an appointment, you can sign up for an appointment using our Linktree QR code, which is also on our webpage. On WorldLink, there's a student advising square that you can click. Okay, WorldLink's really your resource for a lot of this. Here is a handy dandy QR code I strongly recommend you guys hold on to. It has advising, WorldLink portal, links to the recordings, links to our passport grant application, links to campus connections to see our events and our upcoming info sessions, everything. So that is the key portal to all things study abroad. And for now, I'm going to thank anyone who's watching this in the future as a recording. And if Professor Vannier, if you wanted to add anything else before I stop the recording and let our live participants do Q&A offline.
No, I think you covered it all. I think just if anybody has any questions about everything you said about local food, perhaps you're worried you have some food allergies, or think you're just worried about food in general, email me. Come to my office. I'm in 346 French Hall in the program for Africana Studies. Email me. I'm more than happy to answer any possible questions you might have about the trip and about everything that we'll be doing. So please reach out. And there's no question that's too small or anything like that, because when you're traveling like this, it's important that you have all the information so you can best be prepared. So no question too small. Please email me.
RK Trojan, right?
That's right. rktrojan@umish.edu.
Awesome. All right. Well, that concludes our info session. I look forward to seeing lots and lots of applications for Rwanda. This is really, truly a unique opportunity. Kigali is an up and coming city in Africa. I have a personal friend who is a genocide survivor, and they have told me all about Kigali and how it is it's booming. So I'm very, very jealous of you guys. But if you need any more information, you know where to contact us. All right. Thank you so much.